simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Hello and welcome back to another season of hockey. The last time these two teams met, the Timmins Rock and Powassan Voodoos, Zach Turner scored with 25 seconds left in Game 7 on April 16th to send the Powassan Voodoos to the NOJHL Finals. I'm Courtney Kenny, pleased to be joined by Ben Sargent for tonight's game as the Voodoos look to kick off this season on a winning note against the Timmins Rock again here at home ice. However, if we're going to look at the last time the Voodoos won at home, not counting the preseason, we have to go back to March 27th against the Hearst Lumberjacks, in which the Voodoos won 4-3 to go up 3-1 in that first round series. It's been a bit of a struggle since then, as all the games in the Timmins and Powassan series, all the home games I should say, went to the visitors, which is a good thing for Powassan. Game 7 was in Timmins to keep that trend going. However, the Voodoos were not able to win a home game in the NOJHL Finals against the Sudbury Cubs. Ben, welcome back. It's been a little while since not only have we watched hockey, but it's been a while since we've had you on the broadcast too.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I think the big thing going into this game, what a better way to start off this season. There's two rivalries the Voodoos have, Timmins being one of them, the other one, of course, the Greater Sudbury Cubs. And I can't, these are the two games, those would be the two opponents you want to start your season off at home, and they get Timmins today. But the big question is going to be in this game is both teams major overhauls. I think that's kind of the main theme here. If you look at the Voodoos, they've lost a lot of power, both offensively, defensively, and in net. Matthew McMillan no longer there. Chase Thompson, Cameron Lemke, Rafe Smith, all these top point guys. In fact, the only player still with this team, the player who had the most amount of points who's still in this team is all the way down 10th on this list is Caden Dubroy, who had a solid 28 points. Great campaign for him. However, you're losing a lot of points above him. Defensively, no Alexander Little, no Alexander Case, two guys who had really good seasons last year. In net, no Dan DeRoccolo. You've got now Tyson Wilcox. Miles Gordon's injured. He's not starting the season on the bench. So Wilcox is going to have to take this team and try to guide them to a couple of wins, and you hope that he steals a couple of games. On the other side, the Rock also lost a couple of big key names as well. Harry Clark, who had over 100 points, 101 points to be exact, no longer with them. Mason Sfarich, another guy they lost, 75 points. Cadeau Fredette, another one, 61 points, the high-scoring defenseman. But Brant Romanek is the guy that they're going to be going on. They also have in net one of the guys who had an amazing season last year, Dryden Riley, who had a 2.55 goals against average. He's going to be a main part of it. It's going to be a very interesting season for both of these guys. And you know that Timmins is looking for a little bit of revenge. Yeah, you got to think, the players that played last season for Timmins who are here tonight will remember very, not fondly, I should say, of how their season ended last year. They were up 2-0 midway through the game against the Voodoos in Game 7, and the Voodoos were able to come back in that one, tie it up at 2, go ahead 3-2 with 6 minutes left. Timmins then ties it with 2 minutes left, and then Zach Turner scores the go-ahead goal at 25 seconds left in the third period of Game 7 in Timmins too. So a lot of Timmins faithful went home a little bit sour that night from the McIntyre Arena. That being said, a lot of impressive names that you mentioned are no longer with the team. Dryden Riley, though, in net is a monster. He had a .913 save percentage last year. He's going to be without his running mate Patrick Boivin, who was really good in that series. He was really good in the NOJHL as well. So it should be interesting. We'll talk about the Powassan Voodoos, who, if you really want to learn more, the Frontline podcast had its first episode come out yesterday, where I got a chance to talk to
Voodoos General Manager Chris Dawson. We talked a lot about the season that's coming, the 10th anniversary of the Voodoos being this season, and also, the top Voodoos players of all time. We tried to rank them. It was supposed to be a top 10, turned into a top 13 because you just kept remembering guys. But we talked about the leadership of this team, and we won't see the captain of the Voodoos in action tonight, Jackson Smith, as he's serving his first game of a 3-game suspension. But we will see some other newcomers with the letters on their jersey. Justin Russo, who was a rookie last year, was wearing an A. Also, another guy who's wearing an A is also serving a suspension tonight. Adam McKillop will not be playing. He's wearing a letter. He's new to the team. Caleb Dawson and Caden Dubroy as well. Caleb Dawson's wearing an A on the road. Caden Dubroy is wearing an A at home. So, the Voodoos, a brand new leadership group, but these are guys that were here. A lot of them were here last year.
It's going to be very interesting to see Dawson and Dubroy go at it. They had a couple of really good link-up plays last season, and it's going to be exciting to see them get more minutes. They were on that fourth line last year. One thing we know about head coach Peter Goulet, he loves to play his older players. He loves to play his veterans. Now he's got a couple of guys last year who might not have gotten as much ice time as they wanted. They get their opportunity here as well. A lot of, as you said, a lot of new names too. Anthony Boyd's a guy that we saw a lot when we did Trappers, I believe it was 2 years ago.
Yep.
He's going to get second line minutes with that as well. Another guy that Caleb Dawson is familiar with. How about Carson Ruddy? He's going to be the backup for Tyson Wilcox, of course, with Miles Gordon's injury, another former Trapper as well. It's going to be interesting. Mason Rotondo on defense with Samuel Rive. I think it's a long season, but this game is really going to set the tone for how it's going to go out for both of these teams, and both of these teams are looking for a really solid 2 points to start off the year.
Also different this year, speaking of these two teams, is there's no more East and West in the NOJHL. It's all one big 12-team pool now, and the playoffs are going to be 1 through 8. So it'll be interesting to see how things turn up that way. So these two teams, well, yes, it's still a rivalry. Now every game's going to matter immensely in the point standings. So it's important to get off to the right start here because every game's going to be huge in that regard. And then the Voodoos, again, have to turn things around real quick. And tomorrow night, they host the Elliott Lake Vikings here on home ice.
And I love that they did that because one of the things we talked about on the podcast last year was the absolute crazy discrepancy that the Eastern Conference had, where you had Timmins, Hearst, and the Voodoos about 30 or 40 points above everyone else. And now it's going to be a much more balanced and better way of getting the rankings. The bad news for the Voodoos, with a lot of turnover and a lot of uncertainty going into this year. Now, I was talking to Chris Dawson before the game started. He said he's very comfortable with the team he has. He's very confident with the team. But because of that, playoffs are not guaranteed like they were in the previous seasons. So it's going to be very important for them to get off to a good start and beat the teams they need to beat. They need to, when you look at their pre-season game that you guys called against French River, that was a bit of a tight game. They ended up just squeaking one out in overtime. Those are the games they're going to have to win with conviction, but these are the points they're also going to have to steal from time to time. Not
only that, but last year the Voodoos finished third in the East, which didn't guarantee them obviously home ice advantage. You have to finish top 2, but overall in the NOJHL they finished 6th.
Yeah.
So that's a little low when you think 1 to 8. But it shall be interesting what happens here. We're just getting ready for the players to be introduced on the bench here shortly. We're gonna go down to the public address after. And actually we're gonna take it to you to that, or we're gonna take you to that right now.
2024-2025 Powassan Voodoos. Now please draw your attention to the Voodoos bench as we introduce the players not playing tonight. Number 1, from German Valley, Illinois, Miles Gordon. Number 7, Matthew Timmins. Number 18, Adam McKillop. And number 21, Keith Bradley. Your players for 2024-2025, number 31, from North Bay, Carson Ruddy. From Kingston, Ontario, number 33, Tyson Wilcox. Number 2, from Cambridge, Ontario, Lucas Lucas to Callaway. Number 5, from Sunridge, Ontario, Anthony Boyes. From Vernon, Ontario, number 8, Justin Russo. Number 9, from North Bay, Sam Rive. From number 10, from North Bay, Ontario, Caleb Dawson. Number 11, from Sudbury, Ontario, Kaden Gabriel. Number 12, from Nipissing, Ontario, Reed DeBox. Number 14, from Quebec City, Quebec, Nathan Peltier. Number 15, from Sudbury, Ontario, Alexander Duguay. Number 16, from Markham, Ontario, Owen Call. Number 17, from North Bay, Mason Rotundo. Number 19, from Ottawa, Ontario, Jeremy Schoenborn. Number 22, from North Bay, Ontario, Caden Cowell. Number 23, from Fenelon Falls, Ryan McCoy. Number 24, from Winchester Springs, Ontario, Ryan Patrick. Right, 24, Dawson Coleman. Number 25, from Ottawa, Ontario, Caleb Eller. From Mendocini, Quebec, number 27, Lucas Gunner. Number 28, from Lively, Ontario, Riley Misa. And not playing tonight, number 4, your captain, from Calgary, Alberta, Jackson Smith. On the bench, President of Hockey Operations and General Manager Chris Dawson. Trainers Brayden Haas and Trevor Wing. Associate General Manager and Director of Scouting Brent Tomlinson. Your Northern Ontario Scout Dylan Anderson. Goaltender Coach Andrew Besso. Your Assistant Coach Vitaly Yakunin. And your Head Coach Peter Goulet. We ask you to rise, if able, remove your hats, and join Paul and Bruno for the singing of the American and Canadian national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red, the most bursting gave proof through the night, and our ground was still Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, say Canada, oh Canada, our home and native land. True patriot love in all of us command. Quand on s'est porté la paix, il s'est porté la gloire. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants espoirs. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Alrighty, we're about set for the first game here between the Powassan Voodoos and the Timmins Rock, as we're bringing out some special guests here, Tom Piper and Peter McIsaac, the mayor of Nipissing and Powassan, ready for a ceremonial puck drop, as Justin Russo is going to go out for the draw, and we will see who's Timmins sending out, as that'll be Tenzin Nyman, who we are told is set to be named one of the captains of the Rock as well. As there goes the opening ceremonial puck drop. It's always a fun time when the season starts and you get to meet all the players out on the ice as they get the big introduction. And of course, a beautiful rendition of the national anthems by Paul Pruno here. A little bit different. We're used to Tim Scarrow, but it's always nice to get a little bit of change sometimes as well as we get going. Ben, we're getting ready for the game. Things have got to be getting pretty excited now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a quick look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Gateway Golf, your newest favorite place in the North Bay area.
It's true.
Yeah, you have been glowing reviews.
I am garbage at golf, but it doesn't matter when you're indoors.
Oh, man. So, starting off, we'll have Caden Cowell, one of the new recruits, Justin Russo, and Nathan Peltier will be alongside of him, with Samuel Rive and Mason Rotundo in the back. For the Rock, Lucas Lowe, Caden MacArthur, and Brant Romanuk, with Tenzin Nyman and Braden Sear at the back end. Of course, Dryden Riley in net for the Rock, and Tyson Wilcox in a net for the Voodoos. And it should be a very good game and a very interesting game, and I think a good way to see how these two seasons are going to shape up.
It shall be good indeed, as well as these two teams are set to go here shortly. You mentioned Caden Cowell, and you mentioned, talking about the Trappers. He was also a part of that championship team a couple of years ago, and then he went and played with Espanola the last 2 years. And he said, you know what, enough of this highlighter green. I'm going to go and wear Voodoo green and play in my hometown, near North Bay here, as we're set for the opening draw here, as we're about ready to get this 2024-2025 season underway, and the face-off is won by Timmins. Timmins in their road whites are going left to right to start this one. Powassan in their greens, as a shot goes wide of Wilcox's net, are going right to left. Back down to Timmins' zone. It's Timmins with possession now in their own zone. That's Nyman who gets it down the ice, and Romanuk had it knocked off his stick by Rive, who is a North Bay Battalion prospect, but it was out of play, and we'll get our first stop to play. 19 seconds in.
I think going into this game, what I'm really going to be interested in looking at is going to be Wilcox in net for the Voodoos. The Voodoos have been very fortunate to have some great netminders the last couple of years. Daniel DeRoccolo being in net, doing a vast majority of that for the last 2 years. Wilcox, not a lot of time last year, and he's going to have to, he's basically getting thrown into the fire right away.
Yeah, he rode the pine a lot last season, and we didn't see him a lot as that puck's going to go for icing, so another draw here. So it was usually DeRoccolo and then Miles Gordon, then once Patrick Charette came in the scene, and it became, DeRoccolo and Charette running the show for a lot of it, although during the playoffs, Charette was injured, so Gordon was dressing as the backup. But Peter Goulet is really high, and Chris Dawson on Tyson Wilcox, and the few games that we watched him last year play, looked absolutely fantastic in the net for the Voodoos as we're back underway in Voodoos territory. Puck goes around behind the net to Ryan McCoy, one of the new additions to the team here. We'll have to see what kind of growing pains these teams work through here in the first bit as well. As again, you mentioned, not a lot of returners. As Caleb Dawson gets his first touch and he kicks it up for Caden Dubroy, but we're going to get our first penalty of the season against the Voodoos for slashing. So Powassan will have to go to the box here. I believe Anthony Boyes is the offending party, and he will go and sit for 2 minutes or less. And 45 seconds into the game, the Voodoos find themselves shorthanded.
Not the place you want to start if you're the Powassan Voodoos. Their penalty kill traditionally has been really solid, though. So we should probably see what they have up their sleeves here. Of course, the biggest thing is how fast can they get the puck out of their own zone. For the Rock, it's going to be all about zone time possession, trying to get some really good, I think the lateral movement, trying to get Wilcox to move left and right. If they can get those cross ice passes going and really test Wilcox early, it'll be interesting to see how some of his lateral movement is.
Well, we'll get to see it here as the puck drop's going to come to his blocker's side or far side from where we are in the rink. As the Voodoos battling for it. Justin Russo back out there on the penalty kill. He was one of the best penalty killers in the league last year. The puck's down for Nathan Peltier, who's got some speed to him. But Russo and Alex Little were kind of the two big main penalty killers last year for the Voodoos and did a great job. Now it's over to Beard in Voodoos territory. Back to Trottier. Cross ice. Jack Kelly, the former Voodoo, tries to get the puck on net. And a good block there by DeBox keeps the puck from reaching the blue paint. Now Kelly back to Beard at the point, almost too hot to handle, but he's able to keep it in. Now Beard on the near side half wall, sends it back around behind the net, and it's cross ice, and that'll be Kelly with the puck again. Battling just behind in the corner now. That's Dawson Coleman out there trying to get the puck back to the blue line. He does. Beard now in tight. Back for Beard with a shot, and Wilcox with his first save of the season. Wilcox with his first save of the season, and that's a pretty big one on the power play right there.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, and I talked about the lateral movement. That one, obviously, no lateral movement there. We have seen some good movement though from the Rock here, but a lot of it happening in the point. They need to try to get pucks through that slot area if they want to have success that way. Right now, some pretty solid positioning though.
Puck all cross ice again. Wilcox, that's his second save already. For those of you at home, we'll try and keep you updated with the shots. We don't have a shot counter here in the arena right now, so we'll have to figure out what things are going on. I had to do with shots while I was calling the game against French River on the weekend.
Yeah, and I think here for the Rock as well, it's going to be important for them to get on the scoreboard early on. Take some pressure away. Again, they talked about losing their top 3 goal scorers. It's going to be important for them to try to see who else can get on the board.
Here's one here that they're pretty confident in. Brant Romanuk. He's the returning leading point scorer from last year. Now Nyman goes cross ice, and there's a good drag there. Another save by Wilcox. He's up to 3 saves here on this power play, and 40 seconds remain on the man advantage as Powassan tries to get it out. Now it gets back, and the Voodoos, Sam Rive, is going to turn around and just dump it down the ice. He's their lone 16-year-old this year. Last year they had 2 in Mason Rotundo and Ray Smith. Now nearly given away by Riley to Russo as he takes a tumble, and now Cowell gets to the puck.
Well, Peter Goulet loves his high presses. We've seen it twice here, but that's a great job by both Cowell and Dubroy to get in there and tight. It really takes some time off the clock. Already killed about 20 seconds off.
Sorry, that was Caden Dubroy down there, so good to see him out there getting some action. As now it's Lowe. Lowe drops the puck in, goes cross ice. Chance there for Romanuk. Big save by Wilcox, and that'll kill off the penalty for Powassan, and we're back to 5-on-5. Thomas Sefton, another former Voodoo player here in action for Timmins, and DeCalloway sends the puck down the ice. Now Peltier, who plied his trade with the Renfrew Wolves last year. The CCHL takes a hard hit in the far side corner. Now battling on the wall. Caden Dubroy tries to will it back to Dawson. Dawson's able to keep it in, but there's no Voodoo player in the vicinity, so turning around there is Braden Kyer. Sent down the ice. Timmins going for a skate. Lions couldn't quite get to the puck, and now they'll have to turn around and reassess things here in Timmins territory. In the neutral zone, Timmins gives it away. It's going the other way. That was Gunner trying to get it in. Now he's on the far side half wall. Owen Cal, who played for Elliott Lake, will get to see his former mates tomorrow when Elliott Lake comes to town. We'll have that game for you again here from the Sportsplex as the puck from the neutral zone is in on Riley and frozen, and that's the end of play.
Well, not just do we not have a shot clock, we also don't have scores on the board either.
Hey.
Just
Well,
what I noticed.
It's nothing.
There's no score. Not that that's really going to help you because you'll be able to see the score at home, but either way. We do see the first little bit of action, though, that Ryden Riley had to do, but still haven't seen enough on him. We want to see some pressure. Obviously, a couple of minutes on the power play, but love to see some pressure here off this faceoff.
As Voodoos get a chance here, we do have a shot clock now in the arena. It's 3-1 in favor of Timmins after the first little bit here. Almost 4 minutes gone. Puck in deep now for McClellan. McClellan couldn't quite get a chance as it's knocked away from him and into the corner. Now far side of the zone against Powassan. In the Powassan zone, I should say. Timmins still able to keep it in. Timmins, thanks in part to that power play, has been able to keep the puck down in Voodoos territory for the majority of these first opening minutes here. Schonenborn, who scored a big goal last Saturday in the preseason game, about as big a goal as a preseason can give you, as he scored the overtime winner against French River. Now McClellan walks in, takes a shot. That one whistles wide of Wilcox's net.
Yeah, way too easy for McClellan to be able to go through the neutral zone and almost all of the Voodoo zone just to get a shot off.
Callaway battling for it, is able to get it to the blue line but not out as Dubroy's skate kept it in. Timmins with possession again. That's Romanuk. Sharp angle shot turned aside by Wilcox. As now Cowell, the big power forward, tries to dance around his man, but Nyman's able to get to that one. McCoy tried to flip it out of his zone. It hops over the stick of the Rock player, though, and now it's down the ice. That will likely go for icing. No, it's beaten out by Cowell. Cowell out front, tried to find Pelche. He did get it on his stick, but it was quickly swiped away by Timmins. Now Romanuk through the neutral zone again. Going cross ice. MacArthur with the puck now in Voodoo's territory, but it's knocked out quickly by Pelche. Pelche flips it down the ice, finds Cowell. Cowell has a man with him. Caden Dubroy, it's sent out front, but no shot. Now Coleman with a shot, and he can't get it through traffic. Voodoo's starting to assert themselves a little bit more offensively in the last minute or so. DeBox with the puck. Quickly over for Coleman, and it's off of Dubroy's stick. Now Dubroy, who can fly, has the puck. Dubroy throws it in towards Riley. He was trying to get the tip on net for Dawson, but couldn't quite make that one convert. Now Rotundo battling for possession. Gets it to Rive. Rive quickly down the ice for Misa. Misa, he's a speedster as well. This Voodoos team, definitely an emphasis on speed, it feels like, here early. That's how it felt last week. Now Gunner with the puck. Gunner could try to get the puck far side. Now Timmins once again with a beard. Takes a shot. That one's wide of the net. Back to the point. Gallagher keeps it in. Sends it in. It's off the end wall and out for Gunner. Gunner with possession. Looks for find his man in the neutral zone, and that one couldn't quite connect there, as that was Owen Cal.
Well, what we're seeing right now is a lot of not clicking happening with the Voodoos. Their line changes aren't super crisp, and there's a lot of individual play happening. They're not playing as a unit. Those growing pains will happen, but
Gallagher comes in with a shot, turned aside by Wilcox. That's the fifth he's seen so far. Sorry, Ben.
Well, I was just going to say, again, there's going to be those growing pains. You can see Peter Goulet trying to get stuff working on the bench, but we're going to see that for the first couple of games of the season.
Yeah, it's a lot of figuring out who you are, what you've got. And, of course, the roster that you open the season with will not be the roster that you have after the trade deadline in January. Gunner, there's a lot of movement here at the junior A level.
Well, yeah, and you can see that when most of the names you see on the roster sheet are not what you're used to.
Another chance turned aside by Wilcox, who has been very solid so far in the early going.
Well, Wilcox has been really great with his positioning so far. Again, mentioned this on the power play that Timmins had, trying to get him to move laterally. That's going to be the key, but as I said about the Voodoos playing a little bit individually, so are the Rock, and it's going to be the question of who clicks as a unit first. I think that's the team that's going to end up striking first, but 6-1 right now, the shots is not where you want it to be if you're Powassan. Great start, though, if you're Timmins.
Yeah, Timmins has definitely had their way so far with the shots, and now Ellard down the ice quickly. It's a 2-on-1 for Powassan. Sharp angle chance there is turned aside by Riley, and hey, we just wanted to give a shout out as well to Caleb Allard's parents who heard our broadcast in the podcast last week, and we might have said that we liked butter tarts, and they brought us butter tarts all the way from Ottawa.
Absolutely.
Starting off on the right foot this season, and they were fantastic. Fantastic. We'll have to remember which bakery it is there, and we'll give them a shout out here later, but
What are we going to ask for next?
I don't know.
We have way too much power.
Hey, I'm okay if people keep bringing me butter tarts at this point. I'm not going to lie. Puck back into Voodoos territory now. Almost 8 minutes gone here in this opening frame. And Nyman gets to it. He's able to knock it back, but not for very long as Schonenborn gets to it in Timmins territory. But now it's quickly back out to the point for Armitage, and he sends it down the ice as the other way goes Timmins. Another chance thrown on net, turned aside by Wilcox. Another chance, dangerous one there for Timmins, but couldn't quite get it to the net. Battling behind the net is Rive. Puck came out briefly. Is now out front. Another chance blocked by Pelche. Pelche down the ice for Cowell. Cowell quickly over the blue line, gets it back to Pelche. Pelche with a chance. He picked his corner and it went wide and sails all the way back down to Voodoos territory. Rotundo stops up, sends it near side for Russo. Russo chips it down the boards. Cowell sends it in now for Boys. Boys, nifty pass out front. They score! The Powassan Voodoos are in flight here. Ryan McCoy with his first of the season.
Well, one of the things I've been noticing is as the Voodoos have, hey, there we go. We got a one on the scoreboard there. As the Voodoos have been going down into the opponent's zone, there's been a lot of selfishness. They wanted to take the bad angle shot instead of potentially trying for a pass. That was a great example of just non-selfishness, getting it out to a man right in the slot. Beautiful shot. Not a lot of chance and no help from Dryden Riley's defense.
No, but what a great pass by Nathan Pelche, though. The no-look pass behind the back. And McCoy made no mistake there as a defenseman's the first one with a goal here this season in Powassan. 1-0 Voodoos on their third shot of the game. Another chance. Dawson gets to it. He's stripped of the puck, though, and Romanuk with a big shot there and a big save by Wilcox with the glove.
Yeah, Wilcox looking really solid. That's kind of what you want, and it speaks volumes of the fact we said he didn't get a lot of playing time last year. If you think about it from a goaltending standpoint, Miles Gordon is kind of the number one veteran guy, but the fact that Peter Goulet also, even though he's injured, Peter Goulet really wants to go with Wilcox just speaks volumes about what the kind of guy Wilcox is.
Yeah, Tyson Wilcox has been very impressive in his short time with Powassan last year, short chances I should say, and he's looked good so far through the first 9.5 minutes of this opening frame. Now the Voodoos in Timmins territory again, threatening behind the net. Walking out, sharp angle shot, Cal put it off the post, I believe. Now another chance comes in, Cal on the near side. You got to think number 16 haunts Timmins, as that was the number of Zach Turner, who scored the Game 7 winner last year with 25 seconds left in Game 7 in Timmins.
Well, one of a couple of import guys from the U.S., but this year, no imports, I believe.
No, nobody. Well, Miles Gordon's technically from the U.S.
Yes.
But he's listed from Winnipeg, so he's been all over the world. He's the milk master, though.
No more people from Pennsylvania, though.
No more Steelers or Penguins fans. Who am I going to chirp this year? Schonenborn tries to keep the puck in Timmins territory, and Timmins is going to come away with that. That's Ethan Albert, as he was pressured by Schonenborg. Now Rotundo battling for it on the far side. Schonenborg coming in and using his big body to knock his man down. That's Hayden Reinhardt. Now Rotundo with some speed gets it up to Ellard. Ellard was looking for his man, Duguay. Duguay is no stranger to wearing Voodoos green either. He's an affiliate player as he played for the Nickel Capitals a couple of years ago with Dubroy, and then played for the U18 Wolves last year, but he played a few games with Powassan as well, as now Duguay with the puck, but he's had to go for a change, so he just throws the puck into Timmins territory. Scored a hat trick in the final regular season game last year for Powassan against French River as an affiliate player, so that was impressive to watch as well. Nyman sends the puck into Callaway with a good stick, knocks it away. Now Pelche walks over the blue line. Nathan Pelche with a good shot, and that one's turned aside by Riley.
Well, Pelche is going to be a guy you want to look at, of course, being new on the top line, along with Caden Cowell. It's going to be very interesting, but a good burst of speed from him.
Now a good takeaway there by Cowell. Negates a chance there for Timmins. 8 minutes and 20 seconds here remaining in this opening frame to Callaway. Tries to flip the puck in. He does chase it in deep. And Timmins once again with possession. Although Dawson able to turn things around, he was able to get the puck briefly, but Timmins once again picks up possession. Now he throws a big hit in the corner or on the half wall, and he gets it out to his former teammate, now teammate again, Anthony Boyce. Boyce looking for Coleman. Coleman lost the handle on it, but he gets the puck back to the point. Dawson chasing it on the near side half wall. Sends it back around behind the net. Sefton's going to pick it up though. Sefton to DeBroy. DeBroy keeps it in. Tries to fire it in deep. Boyce comes away with it. Anthony Boyce tried to walk his way to the front of the net. Couldn't quite get a shot away though, as now it's sent back out and to the point. Sent in off the side of the net. But from this angle, all we saw was the netting move and thought maybe there was a second goal for Powassan. Back down the ice, Coleman and DeBox in pursuit as both teams go for a quick change. Coleman, look at the presence of mind there to get to the red line as a defenseman and just tip it in so then they can go for a change. Hockey IQ off the charts so far through the first 10 minutes for both teams. In deep now, Rotundo. He has Armitage on him. He throws a quick hit, and now he battles for the puck. Also in there as well is Riley Misa. He took a scary hit at center ice last week in the French River game and had to leave the game. Good to see him out there now. Far side for Cal. Owen Cal. He looked impressive in July camp for the Voodoos as well. Looking forward to see how his season goes. Now to the point. A good chance there by Timmins. Maybe didn't get all of it, was Gallagher, and the puck is kicked out of play by Wilcox. That should bring us to our mid-period break, though, as it does indeed, and we'll be right back on the other side of this.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we welcome you back inside after a quick word from our game day sponsor, Average Joe's. And as Ben Long liked to point out on the broadcast last week, head over there and get some duck wings. Pretty darn good. Yeah, duck wings. You heard them right.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's very fancy.
Want to give another shout out. We talked about them in the beginning, Gateway Golf. I only got the chance to play a couple of holes when I was there testing it out, but man, that's the coolest thing in the world.
What is Gateway Golf for those who don't know?
Okay, so it's a golf simulator that North Bay has opened up in the old CTV building on Oak Street. If you're here, head down to Gateway Golf. Check it out. You can get a couple of drinks. You can get some food there as well, as they have a chef and a kitchen right on site. So it's a good night out. But the golf simulator, as they told us, is the top simulator you can get in the world. It actually moves depending on what the lie is in the actual simulator. And then it will make you shoot off the sand. It will make you shoot off, a tee. And then it just pops out with another ball for you. You don't even have to bend down or anything.
What I need to know, though, is can you get into a golf cart,
no,
have some beverages,
no,
and have a no? Okay,
no, you can't.
All right, there's one little strike against Gateway Golf.
Yeah,
we'll get on that.
But you can just sit at your table and have a couple of pops. Back underway now. Timmins with some speed through the neutral zone. Couldn't quite get a chance though. As now back down the other way. Powassan gets it back deep into Timmins territory before Timmins takes over again. Now in deep, a good chance there, but they couldn't quite connect on the pass as that one's turned aside.
That's the moment right there. You need a guy in that kind of face-off dot area. That would have been a perfect opportunity for Timmins to get back into this game.
Good chance there, just whiffed on the pass. Russo now dumping the puck back in. He goes for a change as Cowell throws a hit behind the net. Couldn't quite get to the puck though, as Powassan with another lineup change now. Schonenborg had to do a little bit of gymnastics there to keep the puck out as Duguay's stick was knocked out of his hand, so he was picking it up and he would have been offside. Now Tenzin Nyman right behind the net. Out front, Schonenborg almost had a chance, but the puck hopped away from him. Now cross ice, Coleman in the neutral zone, flips it in, and Riley plays it. Riley again, kind of a 1B, 1A situation last year with Timmins with Patrick Boivin. We saw him in a game against the Voodoos in that second round series. Romanuk with the puck, trying to get creative. Timmins almost with a good chance there, but couldn't. Got their wires crossed a little bit. Now another chance out front. Romanuk couldn't quite get the stick on it as Timmins threatening with some good plays in the slot area, just can't quite get the finishing touches. Now Timmins back in, another chance. Wilcox, it's in the blue paint, side, right beside him, and Timmins scores to get on the board as Wilcox was swimming a little bit, moving side to side.
Well, we mentioned this at the beginning when we went onto the power play for the first time for the Rock. And the big thing there with Wilcox, that was a tough one where you just see the puck out in front. He can't get anything on it. And it's kind of a combination of, it's not just his fault there. There's also a combination of the defense has to get rid of that puck as it's loose in the blue paint. That's definitely a learning moment, but not a feel-good moment late into the first period when you have a lead against a very good opponent like the Rock.
That's Brent Romanuk's first of the season. As again, he's one of our players that we're keeping an eye on this year. He could very well go off for a monster season here in the NOJHL.
The Rock are not strangers to having one of those.
No, Harry Clark last year over 100 points. You got to keep in mind there's only 50-odd games here in the league. So that's almost a 2-point-a-game average. Now Anthony Boyes through the neutral zone with some speed. Wills the puck forward. And it's behind the net now. Powassan just trying to collapse and get the puck in Timmins territory. And Timmins going the other way. Near side to Beard. Beard cross into the front. And that's a good chance there to stop by Wilcox from Jack Kelly.
Yeah, if you're Jack Kelly, you got to get that shot off a lot faster before you allow Wilcox to get set. But a great save there. A good one to get back into it after giving up a goal you probably wish you didn't.
He's already faced 12 shots here in this opening frame. Riley's faced 5. Making 11 saves. There's now a big hit here on the near side. And sharp angle chance. Timmins puts it in from the side. It's Jack Kelly making up for his previous play. Gets the puck past Wilcox.
Well, that's another one he's going to want to have back as he just doesn't get tight to his post. It goes up onto his shoulder into the back of the net. These are, again, learning curves, and this is what's going to be very interesting about this Voodoos season. We talked about how they don't have that safety net that they used to have in terms of a weak Eastern Conference. Every point matters, but this is what happens with a young team, with a young netminder, with a not a very familiar chemistry of a team. Stuff like this can happen, and if you're the Voodoos, you just got to shake it off.
Well, the Voodoos will have a chance here on this next shift as they get the puck out of their zone. As Timmins now with some momentum, trying to just keep the puck down in Voodoos territory, which is pretty much where the puck has been for, aside from maybe 5 minutes there in the mid portion of this frame. Timmins has just dominated possession so far through the first frame. And now Timmins sends it down the ice. And that's Gallagher who picks it up in his own zone.
And it's tough when the Voodoos play pretty well for a large chunk of this period.
Cowell in with a chance now, sharp angle. Tried to dance to the front of the net, but a good play by Gallagher negates that.
So yeah, Voodoos have played very well for a good portion of this period. Next thing you know is the Rock get a couple of, not fluky goals, but definitely not goals the Voodoos would have wanted to give up. And all of a sudden the entire complexion of this game changes.
Sam Rive walking in, gets it to Duguay, and they couldn't quite get the puck through the slot as a mess of sticks and limbs knock it away. Now Lyons walking in. Lyons with a sharp angle chance. Tried to throw it out front for Armitage, but they couldn't get the puck on net. Rive to Duguay, but they can't quite get it out. They do indeed, actually, as now it's back out to the neutral zone. Ellard with the puck. Ellard nearly avoided a big hit on that one. Now it's to the near side. Sent cross ice for Boyes. Boyes gets it to McCoy. McCoy, the goal scorer for Powassan so far. Can't quite get the puck out of his own zone, though, as Nyman keeps it in. Now McClellan tried to get it, but McCoy is able to get it out. Right back in for McClellan. McClellan on the near side half wall, got it to Armitage. Now McClellan again with it. Ellard coming away with it. These guys looking just to get a change, dump it down the ice. 1:30 remaining in this first period. It's 2-1 Timmins. 13-5 the shots on goal in favor of the Rock as well.
It's going to be very interesting to see what Peter Goulet is going to say in that dressing room.
DeCalloway sends it in from the neutral zone. That one's turned aside by Riley.
And we've seen the Voodoos get a lot of decent opportunities, but a lot of them are in transition. They haven't seen a lot of offensive zone time, especially being able to set stuff up.
As that might go for icing, it does as DeBox is there first. And you're right, I was just going to say there's not a lot of offensive zone time. And the Voodoos, they have been very good at picking off the transition play, but it's just when Timmins gets into Powassan territory, they're able to skate around with it a little bit.
Yeah, and even when the Voodoos do get that transition, it's one player, or they're not getting help, or they're not passing it over to where they need to. When you look at the one goal the Voodoos did score, they got that help and they made the play work, but maybe here they can get something going before the end of the period.
Timmins got to it, but now Powassan with it again, as skating around with it is Cowell as he takes a big hit. That's Gunner. And now it's back to the point for DeBox as we're into the final minute of play here in this period. Back to the point for Coleman. Coleman throws it towards the net. That one was nearly tipped by Cal, but it's turned aside now as he tried to make a fancy play out of that one behind the net. And Timmins once again with possession. No, very briefly though, as Powassan's able to pick it back up. Walking around the net, tried to throw it out front, and that one's cleared from the front of the net by Nyman. Going the other way now with 25 seconds left on the clock. Timmins gets a shot towards the net, and that one's stopped again. Now up front for Trottier with a big save by Wilcox, floated towards the net again and swatted aside by the goaltender, who aside from two little blemishes has been excellent in this opening frame. Now another chance here for Powassan with 5 seconds left on the clock. They have to hurry as walking in, save on the toe of an Owen Cal shot. In the last final seconds there was Riley making the save. It's 2-1 Powassan after 20 minutes of play. Ben, before we go to our break, what did you like? What didn't you like?
I think the Voodoos came out and played really well for most of that period. The 2 goals that the Rock did get, a little bit of lucky goals. Wilcox would have loved to have them back. I think the big thing, the second period is going to be so important. And there was even a couple of times when they had that zone possession late at the end of the period where you saw players not being in the necessarily right position to anticipate where the puck's going to be. And they kind of were crowding around each other a little bit. Spreading out and playing in your system, that's going to be the big goal going into the second period.
Well, I tell you what I did like, and that was some butter tarts from Frank's, the Ottawa's best butter tart, according to this box that I'm holding in my hand.
It's pretty good.
It was pretty darn good. If you're in Ottawa, check out Frank's. I suppose it's going to be a good one. Next time I'm in Ottawa, I'll have to check it out. The Voodoos are down 2-1 after 20 minutes of play. He's Ben, I'm Courtney, and again, Mike Brown, our camera operator, and we'll be back with more on the other side of this intermission.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie-resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
And we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex for the start of period number 2 between the Powassan Voodoos and the Timmins Rock. And real quick, if you like those last two commercials that you saw, that was done by our friend The Real Riot. That's Harrison from the Garrison. Go check out his YouTube channel, Riot, though. He does have a couple of rap videos up there. And, you know, they're pretty good. We made fun of him.
He does children's birthdays. No, he does not. Please do not contact him for children's birthdays.
I mean, I kind of would laugh if he's just like, guys, why am I getting invited?
I mean, he probably would do it.
He's a good sport about it a lot of the times. He just gets very embarrassed whenever he bring up his rap career on the podcast. Anyways, Timmins leads 2-1 after 20 minutes of play. Powassan got the scoring started by Ryan McCoy, a newcomer to the team, and then Brant Romanuk and Jack Kelly, two returners on Timmins. Romanuk getting his first and Kelly getting his first as well. Kelly also a former Powassan Voodoo player from 2 years ago, so kind of sad to see him get a goal against his former mates, but here we are. Nathan Pelche, though, who scored that, or had that nice assist for the McCoy goal. I want to tell a little bit of a story, which I will during our first little break here on the period of Nathan Pelche. I told it last week in the preseason game, but it's just a neat little story. I want to share it again. As we're ready here, I'm Courtney Kenny, he's Ben Sargent, and second period is underway with the Voodoos in their home greens going left to right, and Timmins and the road whites are going right to left, and the puck is quickly into Timmins territory. As now Timmins, though, with a quick transition, was able to get the puck out with some speed, but couldn't quite get it through the neutral zone. Now Pelche with the puck. Now for Russo. Russo throws it in and out of play. And Ben, last year during the Family Day weekend in February, I had the fortune of going and hanging out with the Renfrew Wolves. Gonna go do a little weekend where we were making a little video for them. And I got the chance to ride the bus with the Wolves between Renfrew and going to Pembroke to watch them play against the Lumber Kings in Pembroke. And who should sit behind me on that bus is Nathan Pelche. So he was asking me a lot of questions about the NOJHL. And the next thing I know, Chris Dawson says to me, hey, we acquired this guy. Did you see him when he was in the CCHL? And I was like, oh boy, let me tell you that I saw him in the CCHL.
That was a small world.
Yeah, kind of funny how it worked out.
And we've seen some good plays from him so far. Some good speed off the wing. But right now, as I said this at the end of the first period, it's going to be all about how does this team click going into the second period.
Yes, Wilcox has had a few good stints in net as well in this game. He allowed a couple that I'm sure he wants back. But here we are anyways through the first bit. 2-1 Timmins leads. Shots on goal 15-8 in favor of the Rock as well. Now quickly down the ice with some speed is the Powassan, as that one's off of the glove of Riley. And Powassan gets two quick ones there.
Well, one of the things I was saying, going into the end of that first period, they had a great chance of the Voodoos in the offensive zone. And it felt like the players were bunching up, and there was nobody kind of in that slot anticipating where that puck is. That was a good example of the Voodoos actually anticipating where pucks are going to be in the slot area. How they spread out and how they allow the system that Peter Goulet wants to play, especially offensively, how they allow it to happen as it's quickly right off the faceoff, covered up again by the Timmins netminder. When it's going to really come down to, like, Peter wants to play a team a certain way. He wants to play in a system. Can the Voodoos actually execute what Peter Goulet has in his mind? so far we've seen glimpses of it, but we've also seen some stuff where there's a little bit of selfishness and a little bit maybe not of a lot of trust in the system yet.
Of course, this is the first real game. They've played a few games down at the Cottage Cup, playing some OJHL teams, and then they played French River back-to-back as the puck is in but blocked by DeBox. They played French River twice last weekend, winning both games, although they were tight. This is the first time we've seen the full roster of Powassan fully together and out on the ice. And again, as you said, just a little bit of growing pace, but that's to be expected from every team early in the season. Is a good stop there by the Voodoos is able to turn things around, but they just flip it out to Kelly, who gets the puck quickly in the neutral zone and back on the attack for Timmins. Kelly, cross ice now to Beard. Beard tried to take a shot. That one didn't quite get through as Powassan's able to negate that chance. And now sent down the ice. Also, really not a full lineup again for Powassan as Jackson Smith and Adam McKillop, two big defensemen out of the lineup here tonight, both serving suspensions. I believe McKillop's back tomorrow night. Has another chance is just tipped wide of Wilcox's net. Now to through the neutral zone. That's Ellard down the ice. 2.5 minutes gone. Duguay battling for possession. The former Sudbury U18 Wolf battling. In there again is Ellard as well. And Timmins comes away with possession. Trache to Armitage. Armitage pass across the ice, blocked by Schonenborg. And now he gets it to his man. But now a little bit of a break for Schonenborg. Schonenborg in, can't quite get a shot away. He does. But that one's turned aside by Riley. By the time he was able to get the shot, it was too late as he was well wide of the net. Now battling again on the far side. Schonenborg lost the handle on it as Powassan got the first real good chance here of this period.
Schonenborg's a big man, but not the fastest guy, but still, he was just a little bit faster, maybe gets a bit of a better angle, but you got to respect what he was able to do there, and just wasn't able to get the right angle there on Riley.
Another thing we haven't seen yet is the Voodoos power play. They had a lot of chances last week against French River. Didn't really look to click so well, but that was an issue that they had last year too. Again, no issues on the penalty kill for Powassan, but coming back in, Powassan with a chance. And there's another big save by Riley off the stick of Cowell.
One of the things that Peter Goulet loves to do is make his defensemen get into the rush. We saw that a little bit there with Mason Rotondo going into that rush, getting that shot off. But he'll also he'll allow his defensemen to pinch into the zone, and he likes to cycle his forwards around the blue line as well. It's a very interesting way that Goulet likes to get his defensemen a little bit more involved in the offensive action.
Well, when you have a really good offensive defenseman like Justin Russo is able to bring in the puck, get it over to Cowell, but when you have a really good offensive defenseman the last 2 years like Alex Little.
Yep. Even Case, when Little was unfortunately out with injury, Case brought up a lot of that offensive play as well.
Pelche tried to walk the puck up the boards there with his stick, and now it's quickly taken away from Timmins again. Battle on the far side, Pelche in just behind the net trying to get the puck to Russo. Russo does come away with it, but now he's quickly pinned against the boards as well. Russo doing his darndest to keep the puck near the boards, but he's going to walk out with it and try to get it to the front of the net, but couldn't quite get it there. Now Pelche, not a lot of room to maneuver. He's able to stick handle around his man and get it to the to Cowell. Now Cowell's still in the corner as play just ticks by here with Powassan with possession. Pelche walks out front, nearly had a chance. He drew a penalty though as the Callaway takes a shot, and Timmins is going to hold on to it now, and that'll draw the penalty. As what a play by Pelche, Cowell, and Russo, and then to draw the penalty by Pelche.
That might be a big turning point if they can get this. If they can get this power play going. Now, again, we just talked about the offensive defenseman they had last year. I think that's going to be an interesting thing this year is who's going to step up and be that big man at the point. It's going to be interesting. There's nobody that really jumps off the page that can do that. Will that be a Rotundo? Will that potentially be a Rive or McCoy? We'll have to wait and see. But this is a great opportunity here.
Well, we see it with Rive right there with a shot on goal, and that one's knocked aside by Riley and for the save. But one thing I do want to point out is our nemesis, the stanchion, is back in action here in Powassan on the power play. We can only tell you if there's a minute or less on the board. We can't tell you the seconds.
Yeah, they didn't really think about that when they built the Zamboni door.
No, how dare them not think about broadcasters. terrible. Down the ice now as Timmins is able to kill off some time. Wilcox plays it behind his net, leaves it for Rive. And how about Rive in his first junior A game as a 16-year-old, already quarterbacking a power play?
And he looks pretty comfortable there as well. Interestingly, though, Timmins didn't do a very aggressive press there. Gave Rive a lot of time to set up what he wanted to do.
Dubroy back to the point for Rive. Rive back to Dubroy. Dubroy cross ice. It's off the stick of Misa, and he had to turn around. Now back to Dubroy. They should have put it on net, and it's tipped wide. Cowell got it out front, but Timmins picks it up and sends it down the ice. We're still over a minute left on this man advantage. Wilcox plays it to Rive. A little bit of a scary pass there, but Rive's able to corral it.
Well, great pass by Cowell out into the right idea, right in the slot. Again, no Voodoos there in a very high prime scoring place. Something that I'm sure Peter looks back at and is probably wanting his players to be there.
Cowell's just going to take the high stick there to draw the play dead. As we're under a minute there, Rive looked like he wanted to do a drop pass moments before, and then decided he was going to try and skate right through about 4 different Timmins Rocks players, and the puck was knocked away from him.
Yeah, and it goes back to, again, obviously, you know, the Voodoos want to play, again, back to the systematic stuff. They want to play a certain way, and it feels like players just haven't quite gotten onto the same wavelength. There's a little bit of hesitation. They're making one move maybe too much, but you got to really like some of the stuff that you're seeing here, some great starts. But at the end of the day, it's 2 points on the table right now, and they're down by 1.
Rotundo dumped the puck in. Now he picks it back up, sends it back to the point for his man. Out front, Russo sends a cross ice, was looking for Dawson. Dawson takes a shot, saved by Riley. And now the puck in the corner again. If Dawson was able to get that puck on his tape, he could have done some damage. Back to Rotundo. Rotundo back in for Dawson. Dawson out front, good play there to Russo. Big save, a couple of them now by Riley. As he turns away a couple. As wow, look, you could see the offensive presence and the chemistry of Russo and Dawson, who have played together for a while now, on that chance. As he was able to tip the puck into Riley's pads on a dangerous looking chance.
And that's exactly what Voodoos and Goulet want out of their team. We saw 2 great cross-ice passes. Unfortunately, just not enough to get through as the penalty now has expired. But great start from the Voodoos there.
Another chance here for Timmins, but it's turned aside. Now Caleb Dawson with the puck. He's going to lug it through the neutral zone, leaves it for Misa. Misa with a chance now, couldn't quite get the shot away as that one's blocked by Timmins, but it's kept in by Powassan. Dawson in deep. Tried to flip it back out for Misa. Misa now chasing after it. Misa back to the point for Coleman. Coleman from the point, it's wide. Down near side, Cal with a shot, and that one's turned aside by Riley as the Voodoos have eclipsed Timmins now in shots. 17-15 in favor of the Voodoos. Coleman from the point, buckles his man who's down on the ice with the shot block, but he still makes a save. Now a near giveaway there by Wilcox, gets it to Cal though. Cal through the neutral zone, the Schonenborg, but he plays it offside as the Voodoos really asserting the offensive pressure now.
Well, the Rock really going with a strong, really putting a lot of pressure on the strong side where the puck was. They've left a lot of Voodoos, a lot of space right around that face-off dot. If the Voodoos can get pucks into that area, and they're going to make Riley move laterally across his net, if they can get those passes on and those one-timers in, that's going to be almost a wide-open cage for them. Might be something that Brandon Perry, the head coach of the Rock, might be looking at. Might want to adjust a little bit of how his team plays in the defensive zone.
And Brandon Perry, a former student of the Peter Goulet School of Hockey, played for him, just like former Voodoos assistant coach Josh Hardiman. Which, congrats to Josh and his fiance on the birth of their baby earlier this summer. Josh has moved on to another role down in Kingston. And Josh Dale, now the head coach of the U18 Trappers. So, cross ice, Reiner with a chance, and it just trickles in past Wilcox. He got about 98% of it, and the puck was able to trickle in.
Well, again, that's now 3 goals that Wilcox might have probably should have had at some point. That's one definitely that he should have had in his trapper. Hard to, yeah, that's another hard one to swallow. Again, we go back to those learning pains, and that can be very tough. You see the team getting behind his back, which is really nice, but Not an easy night for him, but you know that there's a lot of faith put into him. Expect him to get better as the season goes on. Again, very young, lots of talent. Just needs to kind of pick up some of those, maybe some of those butterflies on opening night.
Now another chance here as McClellan tried to get the puck on net, and that one's blocked by Powassan. Another chance here as Timmins again with possession. Just unfortunate after the Voodoos had all that offensive zone presence. Dawson up for Boys. Boys tries to will it forward. He's able to get it in, but not too deep, and the Voodoos don't have possession again. Now Timmins with a high man deep. Another chance here as they come in with numbers. Goes cross ice. Good block there by Rive, who's playing above his years. He tried to spring Dawson on a break, and the puck just hopped right over his stick. Gallagher with it. Quickly down the ice to Armitage. Armitage takes a shot. They get it right past Wilcox. And now it's 4-1 Timmins.
Well, it's very quick back-to-back goals, and that's just a bad well, not really a bad change by the Voodoos, but it's the Rock taking advantage of a much-needed change by the Voodoos, and it's a great cross-ice pass to the far side of the blue paint. Great shot. Wilcox not able to get a glove on it again, and it's tough. It's been a tough night for the Voodoos netminder. Some really great saves so far. But definitely he's going to have a tough time, I think, sleeping tonight with some of these pucks that he's let in.
Both times he's been scored on, they've come in pairs real quick, back-to-back goals. And now Powassan, what momentum they had earlier in this frame is gone. 4-1 Timmins here, halfway through the game. And the box gets to it.
And we saw a really good power play, too. A lot of momentum going the Voodoos' way.
Russo trying to will it forward. He's with Pelche as well. And now going the other way is Timmins. Going around behind the net. Timmins with possession, but it's knocked off the stick, and Russo picks it up. Russo looking for an outlet pass, sends it down the ice. Now it's going to get to Sire. Now in deep again, once again for Timmins. Timmins with all the possession. Shot on goal, and Wilcox makes the stop on that one, sharp angle. And that'll bring us to our mid-period break, and we'll be right back on the other side of this with more Powassan Voodoos hockey on the front line.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Once again, we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex here for the second half of the second period. 4-1 Timmins turning this game on its head here in the last few minutes with two quick goals. It was 2-1 coming into this frame, and now 4-1 after the Voodoos had some good momentum earlier in this frame. One thing that'll be interesting to see is the leash on Tyson Wilcox, as his backup tonight is Carson Ruddy, who's slated to play for the North Bay U18 Trappers AAA team. He's obviously an affiliate player of the Voodoos, and the Voodoos think highly of him. It'll be interesting to see what happens if he gets his first taste of Junior A hockey here today.
I think if it stays 4-1, I think if it goes to 5-1, he could see third period action. Maybe if Wilcox gives up a bit of maybe one that he should have had again, we might see him. But it's kind of tough when you're playing with young players like this. You kind of have to be careful with how you manage them. You don't want to put them out there and give them a Patrick Waugh situation that made him leave Montreal. But you also want to show enough faith in your netminder. And so I think what'll be, and plus you're also playing a back-to-back game tomorrow that you'll probably are going to ask Carson Ruddy to at least play a little bit in. So there's a lot to think about.
2-on-1 here for Timmins. Low. Cross ice, another chance. There it is. The fifth goal for Timmins.
Well, that one wasn't, definitely was not Wilcox's fault. He got left out to dry. It's a great bit of passing there by the Rock. Arguably probably the one goal they've scored tonight that they probably have truly deserved, that haven't been one that Wilcox would have wanted back. Maybe the first one you could say the same thing to, but yeah, it's getting, this is what makes the Rock such a hard team to face, is they take advantage of these momentum shifts and can really change the game very quickly.
5-1 Timmins on 19 shots. Shots on Voodoos haven't had a shot on goal since the power play, which feels like a lifetime ago now. Powassan will need to regroup quickly here, maybe get some momentum going into the third. As again, they have Elliott Lake coming to town tomorrow The last home ice win in meaningful games came March 27th against the Hearst Lumberjacks in Game 4 of their opening round series, in which they took a 3-1 series lead, and then they went up to Hearst and won that game in Game 5. And now Timmins again coming in. Jack Kelly to Lowe. Lowe got it in for Kelly. That's Brant Romanuk with another goal, by the way. Rive with the puck. Goes cross ice. His pass too hot to handle for Duguay, but it's going to roll in on Riley. Riley's going to play that one to his man behind the net. And that's Schrache. He got the puck down the ice. Now Kelly gets it to Dawson. Dawson going to be leaned on for more offense this year. To Kelly. Kelly takes a shot. Stopped there by Wilcox. And now that's 20 shots on goal in favor of Timmins.
Well, I think what just happened to Caleb Dawson there, where he got the puck stuck in his feet, that's kind of the way the Voodoos' whole game has been going. A lot of passes that have gotten stuck in the feet, that haven't quite gotten onto the tape properly, bouncing pucks. A lot of things that have kind of stopped the momentum they built in transition or in the offensive zone.
Reinhard tried to get a shot away, and that one was blocked out of the slot by the Voodoos. And that's the thing, is that the Voodoos are a little bit too soft in this game of letting Timmins get to the middle of the ice.
Yeah, and we haven't seen them throw the body around as much as we usually see them. Now, again, a lot of new people, but even some of the guys, like we've seen the big body of Schoenborn, who haven't seen him too much throw the body around either.
Far side, Timmins with a chance off the blocker of Wilcox. And now Dubroy gets the puck to the neutral zone for Boyce. Boyce tried to flip it in cross ice. He was looking for Dawson. And a bit of a hit there thrown by Dubroy. Coleman, cross ice to DeCallaway. DeCallaway looked down the ice, and his pass completely out of touch there for Boyce. So that'll go for icing with 7:21 left in the second period. 5-1 Timmins.
And if you're the Voodoos, like, is it going to be tough to score 4 goals in the next 27 minutes of play? Probably. But what's going to be more important at this point in the game is, again, making sure that you're playing cohesively. How is your actual play? Are you getting good opportunities on the offensive? You kind of have to start looking at it in that case. Maybe stop looking at the scoreboard as much, but the biggest thing is you got to take some positives away from this game. And I talked about how the second period is a turning point. And this is exactly how the Rock have been able to run away with 3 goals now.
Down the ice now. Timmins might send that one for icing. No, they wave it off as DeCallaway might have got a piece of it at his own blue line. Now near side, DeCallaway with the puck. He's battling for it in the corner. Stuck with it though as Russo finally gets to it. Russo can't get it out though either. How many times we've seen that in this game where the Voodoos just can't quite get the puck out of their zone? Whereas Timmins, again, we talk about the transition game. The Voodoos don't have much offensive zone time at all in this game, as they're mostly a transition team so far. Russo goes cross ice, picked off by Timmins, and going the other way is the Rock again. Taking a shot, that rolls in on Wilcox, and we'll get a stoppage of play here. And now a little bit of rough stuff after the whistle, the first time we've really seen that.
Yeah, and this is where, again, it can get, when you're down 5-1 at this point, it can start getting a little rocky. Now, that being said, Peter Goulet's really good at getting his team to stay in line. We've seen that before where some games, I believe it was the Hearst game last year, where things got really bad. I think at one point they had 6 guys on their bench. Peter's really good at getting his team in line. You don't want to do anything crazy and potentially get suspensions.
Cal with a pass cross ice. That just didn't quite connect as he was looking for his man. So far, the only goal for Powassan has been scored by McCoy, a defenseman. Cal overskates the puck. That's Gunner, who tried to get the shot away and couldn't quite. And I just want to point out, when things get rocky, was that an intentional pun?
No, I didn't even know. Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Well, look at me go.
Gunner battling for it on the far side, but it's going to come out to Timmins. And still battling on the far side wall is Timmins, but the puck is loose behind the 2 players. Still battling on the far side now. Everyone's favorite play in hockey when the puck is stuck up against the wall. Only 2 penalties in this game so far, too, as the puck is moved out. Both teams getting a power play. Now Rive chips the puck down the ice and chases after it. Rive, guess who throws it out front? And that one just hopped up and over from Riley. The Voodoos were able to get close, as now Gunner just drops his stick, or else he was afraid of getting called for holding. Romanuk, near side, throws across ice. There's a chance. And Wilcox had to look behind him. He wasn't sure where that puck went, but a big save there by the goaltender. Out front now, Powassan able to negate another chance, as going the other way is Ellard. Ellard on the near side wall, battling for possession, knocked into the board. Schonenborg had it roll off his stick. Now Lowe with it again. Lowe back to the other side for Romanuk, and that one's stopped by Wilcox. He wasn't able to hold on to it though, as now Powassan down with speed. Coleman flips it in as the puck was knocked off his stick briefly. Duguay there, and the puck's knocked away from him. Lowe with it. Goes down the ice to Callaway, tried to stop that. Beard nearly almost was able to split the defense and sneak behind there like a good wide receiver going down the field. Good chance for Timmins, just couldn't quite get the puck to settle down. Now on the near side, Albert sends it right back in to Callaway to play it. Callaway on the near side wall, sends it to Coleman. Coleman tried to flip it out, hit the cage of Jack Kelly, and it stays in, but Callaway gets to it now. Now he flips it up for Duguay. Duguay gets a hold of it, and there's going to be no icing there. Albert, with 3:50 left on the clock here in the second period, 5-1 Timmins leads. He gets it up to Kelly. Kelly down the ice, and that's going to be picked up by Rotundo. Rotundo tries to flip it out, but it's picked up on the near side wall. Now out front looking for Beard. It was almost kicked towards the net. Now another chance. Wilcox down on the ice, and he's just going to be able to cover that one up as the puck nearly got to some dangerous territory there.
Well, if you're the Voodoos, the one bright light here is tomorrow you're right back at it, and you're going up against Elliott Lake, which is going to be a bit of an easier time than going up against a team like Timmins. Though you can say that really, if there's kind of a team that always seems to have the Voodoos numbers, it's usually Timmins and Sudbury. Or those are the two teams you really kind of, as players, you can be very excited because it's a great challenge. But it can also be one of those ones where you don't know what kind of night you're going to get, whether it's going to be close 2-1 or in this case a 5-1 game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Elliott Lake brings tomorrow. Good news for the community of Elliott Lake. They'll be able to welcome the Vikings back for their first home game of the regular season, October 4th from Centennial Arena. They haven't played there in a year thanks to structural issues with the arena, and winning Hockeyville has gone a long way to help out the city of Elliott Lake. So good to see that.
There was a big push for that. That was a huge win for them.
Absolutely.
I know Caleb Dawson, Chris Dawson, the GM of the Voodoos, had a big proponent of that as well.
Yeah, Chris Dawson helped bring Hockeyville to North Bay. And we got to see the New York Islanders and Atlanta Thrashers play. Weirdly enough, the only Hockeyville between two American teams, one of them doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
But Ilya Kovalchuk was here, so that's pretty neat. Timmins with possession. It's a Sire down the ice, gets it to Nyman. Nyman flips it down the ice, and no one was able to get to it, but Russo finds it behind his net. Russo looks down the ice for Cowell. Cowell had it tipped away from him by Trottier as he was trying to sneak in behind for the stretch pass. Trottier gets it over for Pelche, and Pelche can't quite get it in. Now he does. Pelche trying to get around Trottier. And Pelche comes away with possession in the far side corner. Pelche tried to get it to Russo. He finds it with Cowell. Cowell on the near side wall had it knocked back to Coleman, and Coleman couldn't stop it. Now Rive going for it. Rive behind the net. Sam Rive battling for it, has his pocket picked, and now out front for Timmins, but they couldn't do anything with it. Cowell quickly down the ice to Cal. Cal, nifty little move, backhand chance there, as the former Elliott Lake Viking tried to get one between the pads of Riley. Now to Callaway going the other way. Callaway. They're calling that one a delayed offside as Callaway tried to shoot the puck in. So Timmins is going to pick it up once again. Armitage right between the legs of Gunner. And it's going to go in deep for Armitage to chase after. Puck out by Timmins. Gallagher with it in the neutral zone. Battling, or rather sends it right back into his own zone. Now Romanuk with it. Romanuk on hat-trick watch with a minute left here in the second period. 5-1, Timmins still leads. The Callaway throws that one into the offensive zone, and it's right out of play. And that's a couple of times now with the Callaway where he's been able to pick off the puck, but he's not been able to bring it in because there's been a delayed offside chance.
Yeah, and it's when you look at the difference in how each team is moving the puck up the ice, with the Voodoos, it's a lot of 1-on-2 or 3 as they don't have any help with them. The Rock have done a good job of getting a lot of their bodies up the ice before they even start that pass up, and they're getting a lot of help from a lot of their players. Again, there's a lot of individuality when it's coming to a lot of the Voodoos play right now. Players just not being where they should be.
Well, here's a 2-on-1 chance. MacArthur takes the shot, saved by Wilcox. He looked behind him, and the puck was out in front of him. Big save there by the goaltender. As at one point, Powassan led 17-15 on the shot total. Now it's 24-19 for Timmins in this period with 27.1 seconds left on the clock for Wilcox with a huge save there.
And you can tell Wilcox not the most confident right now with some of the goals that he's left in this game. As you could tell, he kind of didn't know if that puck ended up squeezing by him or not. It's going to be, again, a learning curve for everybody, but it's going to be a bit of a learning curve for him as well as he really understands the speed of the game. He didn't get a lot of opportunities last year, and you don't get to see that much from the bench. So it'll be interesting. I wonder if he'll come out for that third period. I think he will, but we'll have to wait and see.
Kelly with the puck. Place your bets online.
Send them to Riot.
Now a chance there. Dubroy tried to get the shot through, but it's blocked. I mean, what's a sports broadcast nowadays without a betting ad, right? So, I mean.
That's true.
Kept in, but no time left as Rive. As there's going to be a delayed penalty, too, so we'll have to see who gets the penalty. But that's the end of the second period now. Timmins leads 5-1 after 40 minutes of play. As the referees converge, we'll just have to figure out who's getting the penalty here by the end of this period. Either way, Ben, before we go to our break, well, what maybe did you like and what didn't you like?
What I didn't like, I think, was pretty much that entire period by the Voodoos outside of that power play where they actually looked really solid. Wilcox, again, had his struggles a little bit in net, which is to be expected as you get used to a new league, but some of those goals he really wants to have back. The biggest thing, and I said this going into the second period, was how is their cohesiveness as a group? Are they going to be playing their structure? And again, their transition game in the neutral zone, not great. They're not getting opportunities. They're not getting really good opportunities in the offensive zone. And defensively, they're allowing some really good opportunity passes to go through. And I don't know. I think going to that third period, we need to see something from this team that's going to be a positive going into tomorrow night.
Well, looking to see who's going to get the penalty, but I don't think that they're going to put it up. So we'll have to let you know when we come back for the intermission as to what the mood is on that one. But as for now, he's Ben, I'm Courtney, and we'll be back after the second intermission.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie-resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
And we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex here for the third period between the Timmins Rock and the Powassan Voodoos. The Timmins Rock currently lead the Voodoos 5-1 as they continue the trend of which home team is going to win. Yeah, or I should say the away team from that 7-game series, because Powassan goes up to Timmins, wins the first 2 games. They come back with a 2-0 lead in that series. Timmins ties it up through 2 games here. Powassan goes up for Game 5, wins it, comes back for Game 6, they lose it. And Game 7, they go up and they beat Timmins in 7. So, quote-unquote, Game 8 of that series is so far going the Timmins way and continuing that trend. Ben?
Yeah, a bunch of different teams on both sides, but definitely.
Semantics. You say tomato, I say tomato.
And the big thing, though, is Timmins was a big block for the Voodoos in the playoffs for quite a few years. Finally, the Voodoos were able to get over that hump before falling to the Cubs in the finals. But that was a big step forward for this Voodoos team. And tonight, a bit of a step backwards. Now, these 2 teams are going to face off against each other in another week's time. Next Friday, they'll be in Timmins. Well, the next night they go into Hearst. It's going to be a tough start to this season. Of course, Elliott Lake here tomorrow, but next weekend, you got Timmins and Hearst. We talked about how it's different this year. It's only the top 8 teams out of the total 12 of the entire league get into the playoffs. There are teams you got to beat. There are teams that you hope to steal some points from, and then there's teams that you kind of say, we might not get any points from this. Hearst and Timmins are kind of those teams that you want to try to steal as many points as you can get from them throughout the season, because those are going to be some of your biggest competitions for those 8 slots.
Once again, Courtney Kenny, pleased to be joined by Ben Sargent. Mike Brown, our camera operator, as always, is his birthday. Every game day is Mike's birthday. And Cassie Millen, our intern, and Harrison Clements getting some wonderful stuff for the Frontline on social media. Check it out at the Frontline Pod. For the record, we were talking about a penalty before the intermission, and it's a double minor going to Anthony Boyce. So the Voodoos will have to kill off 4 minutes here of penalties as we get set for that opening draw. Peter Goulet getting some explanations. Tyson Wilcox led the team back out on the ice, so no change in goal for Powassan.
I have heard it is apparently a slew foot, is what they're calling it on Anthony Boyce.
That's not good, because he could very well get a suspension, although he is in the box.
Already 3 people suspended, including their captain, Jackson Smith.
4 minutes for slew footing.
Yeah, 4 minutes for slew footing is the call. Now we're back underway. The Timmins in their road whites are going left to right this period, and the Voodoos in their home greens are going right to left. As Nyman gets to it behind his net. 30 seconds gone on the man advantage. Rotundo steps up in the neutral zone and sends the puck right back down as Pelche try to get a hold of it in the offensive zone.
When it rains, it pours, right, for the Voodoos. Not a good second period. They start this period down a man for 4 minutes. If you were going to get back in this game, you're down 4 goals. You only got now 16 minutes at least of 5-on-5 time to play. You know, going into this period, if you could at least get one super early, maybe back-to-back, you can think about tying this game up. It's going to be much harder now as Timmins got 4 minutes they can kill off this clock.
Beard in with a shot. That one stopped by Wilcox. We're 1 minute and 10 seconds through the opening portion of this penalty. Beard Back to the point, another shot. Saved by Wilcox, rebound chance. Turned aside by the goaltender. Now Armitage with another chance, blocked in front by McCoy. The lone goal scorer so far for Powassan. Now Dubroy in, battling for the puck. He's just going to get it up against the boards and try to kill as much time as he can. 2:20 left on the man advantage. They've almost killed off the first minor.
And it's tough too, Anthony Boy. 6 minutes now of penalty time in this game. Not a great time for your Voodoos season debut.
No, the former U18 Trapper, who was a champion with the likes of Caleb Dawson and Justin Russo and Caden Cowell, getting off to a bit of a rocky start here for his team, as 2:14 left, as we got an icing call against Timmins. So that'll kill some time off of the penalty again. Face-off won by the Rock, in their own zone now. Behind the net, Timmins sets up. That's Trache. Gets it down the ice to Reinert. Reinert near side to Beard. Beard sends it behind the net. Ellard goes for a chase of that one, but it's quickly to Reinert behind the net again, but he didn't quite get possession as he battles in the corner now on the near side. Beard in the corner as well. As Rive's in there trying to dig the way at the puck again, or rather Schonenborg. Battle for possession, still a minute 40 left on the man advantage, so the first minor has been killed off. 5-1 Timmins leads, still battling in the corner. Fans asking for a whistle, but the more time in the corner means less time on the power play as Kelly takes a shot, stopped by Wilcox. That's his 27th shot seen. Voodoos yet to get to 20, as they currently sit at 19. Beard couldn't quite get past the lineman, and that's going to kind of speed up some Timmins players and cause an offside call. And that'll be another stoppage here with a minute 11 left on the man advantage.
Yeah, I mentioned this in the second period. At this point in the game, you really just want to focus on what positives can we take out? Can we end on a high note? Now, speaking of Gateway Golf, it's the same kind of idea when you have a bad couple of holes, but your 18th is really good. Makes you want to go out there again. This is kind of the same idea. You want to have a really good end to this game, something that you can take into that Elliott Lake game tomorrow night.
Low with a shot. That one goes wide. There's always one shot that keeps you coming back, eh?
It's always that last hole.
Oh, I lost all my golf balls but one, but at least I got one good shot today.
Go to Gateway Golf.
Yeah, work on your golf game during the winter. That's something you haven't been able to do in North Bay, and now you can. Nyman down the ice as he wasn't able to keep it in. 30 seconds in. Nyman plays the puck from Riley, as Boys is almost set to rejoin the play with 20 seconds left. Timmins now walking in. Romanuk cross ice. That one goes whistles wide of Wilcox's net. Romanuk now with it. He fans on it, and a good play there by McCoy. He's able to send the puck down the ice, and that should kill off the remaining time on the boys' double minor.
That's a really good play by McCoy to get the puck down the ice, and you can kind of just see right now in the body language of some of these players, they just want to get off this power play. Now they're back to 5-on-5, and now they've got a chance to get some momentum here. About 15 minutes, 50 seconds left or so in this hockey game.
The Voodoos penalty kill has looked excellent through its first two opportunities here. Technically 3 for 3 if you count the double minor as 2, which they usually do on the stat sheet. Now battling for it on the far side, they blow it down, and a lot of Voodoos fans seem to enjoy that. But again, on the power play, on the penalty kill, you want them not to blow it down because it's killing more time.
Yeah, no, that's very fair.
But 5-on-5, yeah, blow it down. 5 seconds tops. Like, come on. It's the most exciting play to call. It's the most exciting play to watch. Man, as they say, let's do that hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Misa in for the draw for Powassan. McClellan with the puck as well off the draw. Now it's sent down to Voodoos territory, but Coleman's able to get it out. Gunner with it. Turns around, goes cross ice to DeCallaway. DeCallaway gains the red line, dumps it in. And Gunner now tries to get to it on the near side. Back to the point for Coleman. Coleman tried to flip it back in, and it's stopped up. Gunner behind in the corner, flips it back to Coleman. Coleman goes cross ice, and DeBox gets to it. Armitage leaves it for his man, and Timmins goes the other way. Put in cross ice in the Voodoos zone. Gunner gets to it, but quickly again, Timmins has it. Gunner picks up the loose puck, though. Gains the blue line, gains the red line, flips it in. Coleman thought about chasing it, but decides to go for a change with the rest of his mates. And now Timmins sets up shop in their own zone. 14:40 left in this third period. 5-1 Timmins leads. With possession now, Pelche in his own zone. Pelche behind the net looking for DeBox, or rather Rotundo. And the puck now back for the Voodoos. Cowell goes after it. Albert flips it back to the neutral zone. Russo picks it up, skates over it, and now Rotundo picks it up in the neutral zone, flips it near side. Cowell sends the puck down the ice. That one's going to be chipped in by Pelche, and now they're going to go for a quick change.
I think Samuel Rive is going to be a guy you want to watch on the Voodoos defensive line this year, as he really gives you that vibe that you saw from guys like Little, guys like Case, guys like Russo. There just really is this this level of confidence that he gets kind of on that defensive line. He does seem like he does give a bit of a quarterback vibe.
He does. And, you know, he was a late-round pick by the battalion in the OHL priority selection, and he was one of the last cuts in camp as well this year for the battalion, who they themselves will be going through a bit of a transition phase this season.
A lot of parallels between these two teams as, again, when you look at this roster year over year, very few names jump out at you.
Callaway with the puck, goes cross ice to McCoy. McCoy quickly down the ice for Duguay, and Dugay's going to dump it in, and Ellard's going to have to chase after it. Now to the near side. Romanuk to Lowe. Lowe quickly in for his man, Sefton. And Sefton's shot is blocked, and then a blind look behind his back to Dugay. Doesn't get the puck out of his zone, though. Now Dugay flips the puck down. Ellard was going to chase after it, and that'll go for icing against Powassan, as Timmins is able to get to it first.
One of the things that is exciting with a bit of a younger Voodoos team than we saw in the previous couple of years is that we're really going to be able to see this coaching staff put their stamp on these players a little bit. And we go back to those growing pains. There will be a transition period probably in the first quarter of the season or so where we see some inconsistent play, but I do think once you start getting to the halfway mark, we're going to see some very consistent play, and we're going to really see how this Voodoo team's going to shape up. It's going to be about, as it goes back down for icing quickly off the draw, it's going to really be about, can the Voodoos make sure they stay up in those standings in a place that they want to be in while they work those kinks out?
Well, we'll have to see as things unfold here. Last year, Timmins didn't start off all that hot in their season, on their season of title defense. I remember going to the NOJHL showcase, and things weren't going right for the Rock at that point, but then they turned it on and became, you know, once again, the best team in the East throughout the regular season before being knocked off in the East Finals. So we'll have to see if Powassan can kind of do that. Here's a nifty little pass attempt there by Dubroy, was trying to spring Boys, but couldn't quite get through to him. Now Dubroy gets a stick on it and sends it down the ice. Boys chasing after it. Couldn't quite get to it, as Dubroy picks it up in the offensive zone. Dubroy keeps it in, tried to find Boys on the backhand, but it's blocked by the Rock. And now they're going the other way. Timmins with a chance. That one whistles wide of Wilcox's net. And the puck down to the neutral zone. Dawson tried to battle it forward, but it's kept up by Albert near his blue line, and the puck squirts out. Now Gallagher looks it into Voodoo's territory. Coleman gets to it. Has to go for a skate. Sends it in. Just dumping it off the glass in Rock territory. Misa to it. And now the puck comes near side to Rive. Rive in his own zone. Back to Rotundo. His pass through the neutral zone hits Misa's skate, and it goes back to Rive in his own zone. Rive for Rotundo. Rotundo gets it down the ice for his man. That's Cal. Cal throws a hit. And now Rotundo with the puck deep in Timmins territory. Willed the puck out front. Cal's going to get to it at the point. And now the puck back down to Voodoo's territory for Rotundo. Rotundo doesn't like what he saw, so he twists and turns back into his own zone. Gets it to Cal. Cal up for Gunner. Gunner cross ice now for Cal with some speed going through into Timmins territory. Misa battling for it, gets to the puck in Rock territory, but the puck hops over his stick behind the net. Timmins picks it back up. That's Sefton. Now up for Beard. Beard. Good stick there by McCoy was able to knock it away from him for a second, but only a second. As DeCallaway tried to get it back out of his zone. 10:40 remaining here in this period, and they get it to Cowell. Cowell has some room now on the near side. His pass, looking for Pelche. A little bit too slow for number 14 to pick up, as it was picked off by Timmins. Now Cowell. Try to get the puck back, but now it's back into Voodoos territory. McCoy battling for it behind the net. Got it up to DeCallaway, but not much further as Timmins picks it back up now. Lyon with it. Lyon twisting and turning. Got it back to the point for Nyman. Nyman goes cross ice. Another chance tipped on Wilcox's net, as that's the first shot in some time here in this game. Voodoos still sitting at 19, as Timmins has just suffocated any chance that they have. As a big hit thrown here at the neutral zone by Pelche, and a second chance by Timmins, but Pelche is able to knock him off. Another chance thrown towards Wilcox's net, and that's the 29th shot on goal, as Timmins now outpacing Powassan by 10 shots here at the midway point of the third period. There's 9:50 left. Timmins leads 5-1. We'll be back with more Frontline Powassan Voodoos hockey on the other side of this.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex. Again, Timmins leads 5-1. I'm Courtney Kenny. He's Ben Sargent. Matt Suckerman and Ben Long will have the call for you tomorrow night against the Elliott Lake Vikings. Although I know I can't stay away, I will be here to watch the game, even though I'm not supposed to be working. So I kind of do it to myself whenever I complain, I got hockey all weekend, but I don't need to be here tomorrow. But I'll be here tomorrow.
You kind of do it to yourself. One of the things I wanted to touch on, though, is you were talking about the Timmins Rock and how they started the year off a little slow and then they got better. One of the things is Timmins is one of the best and most consistent programs in this league. They've, year in and year out, always seem to be at the top of the East. This is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be interesting to see, actually, how the West, which usually has been a very strong conference, will affect some of these Eastern teams. But the Voodoos are also another program that has consistently gone in and out. As a great glove save there, right off the face-off by Wilcox for another whistle. One of the things that really makes or breaks programs is when you're in transitionary periods, how well does your team handle it, and how do you still get results? Similar when you look at the OHL, we talk about the Battalion being in that same boat. One of the things that puts like the London Knights away from other programs is they're consistently able to be really good.
Consistently able to be really good, and always another save there for Wilcox. Always seem to be able to attract the big stars who say that they're not going to come to the OHL, and then London takes them in the draft, and then next thing they're playing in London.
To be fair, though, like if you're going to play in a league like the OHL, you want to be playing for a team and that's going to do really well and run really deep into playoffs, win championships, and that's something that you build with culture, something the Battalion are trying to do. And I think this is something also that the Voodoos have done a very good job of recruiting as well.
Gallagher with a chance, stopped by Wilcox. Another chance as Wilcox is scrambling, but it's knocked away. Timmins now with a bit of a flurry of action here off the mid-period break. Another stop for Wilcox, as now it's 33 shots on goal for Timmins, as now the puck comes out of play. Yeah, we talk about, the OHL for another moment here. One of the things when Adam Dennis took over as general manager was they wanted to turn this into the kind of the London of the North. And what better way to do it than a Memorial Cup winning goalie who played for London and won that Memorial Cup with them. He's now the president, and now this is going to be his first real test, as he was able to build up a team that was good enough to make it to 3 straight Eastern Conference finals. But now with a lot of transition, it's going to be a test between him and John Winstanley and Ryan Houlihan as to what they can do to kind of keep the lows not that low and keep the highs high.
Yeah, and this year's not a year they expect to maybe go for a banner, but you do expect them to be able to get into the playoffs and run relatively deep. How they do it's going to be interesting. Mike McIver, former Voodoo, as well, going to be the main man in between the pipes, you'd have to think.
And he's off at Anaheim Ducks camp currently.
Yeah, which is big. That was one that was posted on the Voodoo's website earlier. It's a great opportunity for him. Fantastic goaltender.
That's going to go for offside as Pelche got a shot away, but it won't count as it's after the whistle. But yeah, it's just another good thing that we really saw Mike McIver take ownership of that battalion crease. He was kind of the third stringer for most of the year between Dom DiVincentis and Charlie Robertson. Then Robertson was moved at the deadline to Niagara, and Mike McIver, who played a couple of games with the Voodoos last year, was able to take over in the playoffs when Dom went down with an injury.
And it would have been very difficult if Dom came back to try to get Mike out of that crease because he played so well. Also a former Trapper who played with the Anthony Bowes and Caleb Dawsons of the world.
Former
Russo's.
Billet brother of Caleb Dawson's. The puck back to the point. Riley with the save. Another chance. Rebound off the side of the net is Powassan now with a couple of good looks offensively. Callaway sends it back in deep. Gunner picks it up. Gunner out from the corner. Looks to go cross ice as that hits a body and goes out. McCoy just dumps it right back in as the Voodoos finally hit the 20-shot plateau.
A little bit better there from the Voodoos in the offensive zone. It's really their issue hasn't necessarily been how they handle the puck in the offensive zone. It's trying to gain the offensive zone and establish that cycle play in the Rock zone. And they haven't had a lot of faceoffs either in front of Riley.
Nyman throws it across at the net, blocked down by Wilcox. Now Dawson the other way up for Boyes. Boyes stops up, chance here for Anthony. Boyes throws that one just wide of the net. Caleb Dawson behind the net to Boyes. He finds it again, back to Dawson. Dawson to Boyes out front. Oh, what a save there by Riley. As the Voodoos starting to get their feet under them a little bit more here late. 7:20 remaining here as their Rock are going to play the puck, and that'll end the play there. One thing I would like to say, not that I think that we're on the horizon of overtime anytime soon, but if you're just kind of figuring things out this year, there's no more shootouts in the OHL. Or in the NOJHL, sorry. It's 7 minutes of 3-on-3 hockey now. And if a game ends after that point, it'll end in a tie. We saw that last night between the Sudbury Cubs and the Sioux Thunderbirds. The game ended as a 4-4 tie.
Interesting they chose 7 as the time, not 10 or 5.
Rive with a big hit along the near side wall. Yeah, a little interesting. Maybe
they think that the shootouts equal to 2 minutes of 3-on-3.
Maybe, but I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people say, hey, the more 3-on-3 action there is, someone's going to score eventually. Clearly, the Sioux and Sudbury said otherwise last night, but.
Which Sioux team was it, though?
The Thunderbirds.
The Thunderbirds. There's 2 Sioux teams. So.
Yeah. Well, there's Sioux, Michigan, which is the Eagles, and then Sioux Thunderbirds, which is Ontario. As the Gallagher in his own zone dumps the puck down, but it's through the neutral zone now as Rotundo just dumps it on the backhand in for Gallagher to play. 6:30 left, shots on goal 34-21 in favor of the Rock. And Timmins through the neutral zone again. Bumped off the puck though as Callaway just flips it right back into Timmins territory and chases after it. Callaway out front. Misa tried to get to the rebound as it hit off the side of the net. Kept in again by the Voodoos, but Lyons gets to it. Gets it up for MacArthur. All the way now in for Gunner. Cross ice. McCoy picks it up. And McCoy dumps it in and chases after it. Cal with it on the near side half wall. Battling with Sefton. Cal. Down the ice, but through the neutral zone. Now it's Coleman with it. Coleman nearly had his pocket picked by Romanuk, but the Voodoos get the puck down the ice. Cal chasing after it. Was bumped off the puck at the blue line. No offside, though, as he dumps it in.
Well, when you look at when the Voodoos had that really good opportunity just about 90 seconds ago, the biggest difference was they had 4 guys going up in that rush, and they really kind of outnumbered the Rock, and they were really able to make some stuff happen. A lot of their transition plays, they have 1 guy going up because the rest of the team's changing, and they've really been on their back heel that way. But here's another chance now for the Voodoos.
Russo tried to get it through to Cowell. Cowell with a backhand chance hits off the side of the net. Cowell and Pelche battling on the near side half wall. Gets it back to Coleman at the point. Coleman with a shot. That one was just tipped wide by Russo. And Cowell tried to get a hold of it, but it's now dumped out by the Rock and off the roof and out of play. 4:47 left in this third period.
Well, we talked about how that one of the things I said going into that second period is this is going to be the period that's going to determine the game, and it very much did that. It was 2-1. And then kind of a rough second period from the Voodoos. Saw them allow 3 goals from Timmins. Next thing you know, going to this third period, you start off with a 4-minute penalty, and it really turned out. But the Voodoos, for the most part, if you think of it as the start and the end of this game, have actually played pretty well against this Rock team. But it's tough when you're down 5-1 to really try to get some momentum.
DuBrois now in tight, try to get the puck towards the net. Couldn't quite find it though. Rotundo sends it right back around for Dawson. Dawson battling for it, gets it back to Rive. Rive with a shot, and that one's blocked aside by Riley. Now DuBrois in for Boys. Boys throws his man to the ice, and now DuBrois knocked to the ice. No call coming there. Boys picks it back up. Boys flips it back behind himself, but it's picked up by Nyman, and Timmins tries to get out of their zone. They do. DuBrois looked to be looking down at his skate. I don't think he was very happy with something that happened in that play. And now the puck to Schonenborg. Schonenborg has the puck off his stick as he tried to muscle his way towards the front of the net. And back to the blue line. And out for Timmins. McClellan with some speed tried to get around Coleman, but a good defensive play there by Coleman with his stick knocks that one away. Now Duguay with the puck as it's knocked off his stick. No, he didn't even touch it, as that'll go for icing. 3:28 left here in the third period. 5-1 Timmins leads.
So a lot of good and a lot of stuff that you can take back to the drawing board for Peter Goulet. I think on the other side, if you are Brandon Perry of the Timmins Rock, I think for the most part you're pretty happy with how this game played. Dryden Riley didn't have to work too hard in net. You saw some great offense. Of course, Romanuk almost with a hat trick, and you really did a good job of keeping the Voodoos on their back heel for most of this game. A lot of good stuff, and both teams I think can take some good and bad from this game.
Well, we'll see how the Voodoos respond tomorrow night as Kelly now in with a good chance here. Jack Kelly shot on net. Wilcox blocks that one aside. And now it's Duguay. Goes cross ice, but he had no one there as Schonenborg had veered off towards the Voodoos bench.
You got to give Tyson Wilcox a lot of credit in this period. A big bounce back period for him, as he has looked very comfortable in that net, like when he did when he started that game.
2:40 left in this third period. He has indeed. He's now faced 35 shots and made 30 saves.
One thing with the Voodoos, and we've seen this last year too, they do give up a lot of shots in a game. Which some goalies, like we talked to Dan Dorocolo last year, he said he loves to face a lot of shots because then you're always constantly in the action. But
as the puck rolls in on Riley, and he'll make the stop there. 2:19 left here in this third period. Yeah, I would rather face a lot of shots myself in net. Not that I've ever played at this level. The last time I played goal in an actual hockey game was Timbits. So
I think though it depends on the quality of those shots, right? You don't want to be running around, sliding across your crease, trying to make these acrobatic saves, but being able to have great positioning. And we've seen some good positioning from Wilcox as well. And I think a lot of it's just his jitters, like some of those goals that I think he would have liked to have back. Overall, pretty solid start for him, and I think the 5-1 scoreboard isn't quite indicative of how this game went for the most part.
Timmins just ready to kill some more time behind the net as Gunner finally goes after his man and goes after the puck, but he had swerved off a couple of times, and Timmins killed off about 15-20 seconds just holding it behind their net. Now Gunner with the puck. Gunner down the ice, knocked back by the Rock. Gunner tried to get around his man, but it's given up to Lyons. Lyons now on a 2-on-1, goes cross ice. Big save by Wilcox. Oh, a couple of big saves by the goaltender there. Another chance floats in on him as he was able to get a pad across and stop that one with his toe. Timmins now all over the Voodoos in their own zone. As Powassan finally gets it down the ice. Will that have the legs for icing? No, as Nyman's able to get to it. Big stop there by number 33 in green.
Well, you talk about how you want to end a game, and I don't think there's a better way to end that game if you're Wilcox there. What a nice save. And again, all about gaining up confidence at this point. That's going to help you a lot. Less than a minute left here. McClellan with the shot. That one missed the net. And now McCoy, the lone goal scorer here for Powassan, gets it up to Dawson. Dawson over the blue line. Sharp angle shot. That one's off a stick and wide. And Timmins now going the other way. Walking in is McClellan. McClellan tried to center the puck. It's off a skate. And rolls in. 29 seconds left out front. Couldn't quite get a shot away. Now Albert sends it in deep for Timmins again. McClellan with the puck. Takes a chance, but DuBrois gets to it behind his net.
He looks up ice, finds Dawson. Dawson has boys with him. Dawson decides to dump it in, but it hits a body and bounces back. Now McCoy sends it right back in as he levels his man, and that'll be a late penalty here against the Voodoos. McClellan gets up, and he has some words for Dawson.
Well,
4.3 seconds left on the clock, and that will all but seal it here against the Voodoos, though.
The last thing you want to do, especially in a 5-1 game, is do anything that might end up having repercussions later in the game. And so far, it's been a pretty clean game. We have not seen the Voodoos get aggressive or scrappy after whistles. So you just got to hope that nothing super crazy. I didn't see the hit right away in the back, but it did look like he might have gotten him a little bit up high.
Yeah, it's McCoy, the goal scorer for the Voodoos, that got it.
He was a little bit behind the play as well.
2 minutes up on the board. Not that it matters. 4.3 seconds left here. 5-1 Timmins is going to take the opening game in the Sportsplex. Maybe a little bit of revenge for how that East Division finished out last year. As now the puck dropped off by Russo. He's just going to dump the puck down, and that'll do it here. As Cowell has some more words post-game too. And Timmins comes in here and spoils Powassan's homecoming party. But the Voodoos will be back in action tomorrow night with the Elliott Lake Vikings coming to town.
Yeah, again, some good and some bad if you're the Powassan Voodoos. A lot more good if you're the Timmins Rock. Not, especially with the way they started last season. It's good to start on a big note here with some fresh legs. Of course, Romanek, a big game with a couple pair of goals. The Voodoos, McCoy, getting on the score sheet as the lone Voodoo. And there were some good moments as they salute the crowd here. Tyson Wilcox had a couple of iffy moments here and there, but for the most part, he looked very solid when he needed to be. And I think it's just going to come down as this team gets more and more comfortable with Peter Goulet and his style of play. You're going to see a better and better. Voodoos team.
Well, we'll have to see if they get the jitters out tomorrow against the Elliott Lake Vikings. The game will be at 7 o'clock. The Frontline will have all the action for you tomorrow as well. It'll be Matt Sukram and Ben Long with the call in that game, so should be fun. Right here from the Sportsplex again tomorrow. A huge thanks to Ben Sargent for being here for my color analyst, and of course Mike Brown. What a way to spoil your birthday here
Happy birthday
on the opening night here as a 5-1 loss at the hands of the Timmins the Timmins Rock. As again, a huge thanks to Cassie Millen as well, our intern, getting some shots at ice level, and Harrison Clements as well doing the same thing. Go check out at the Frontline Pod on Instagram for all the information and all the fun stuff out there. Also check out the second episode of the NFLA with Brad Brooks and Calvo. They're talking about all the fun stuff that happened from week 1 as week 2 gets underway. My Bills with a big win over the Dolphins last night, and I will take that any day of the week, even though it was a weird one on Thursday night. But again, and then the first episode of the Frontline Season 5 as well debuted yesterday, as we break down the Voodoos preview with General Manager Chris Dawson. Keep an eye out, though. We got some more stuff in the hopper, and hopefully we'll be able to bring some more NOJHL action your way. And don't forget to check out the NOJHL's YouTube page and check out NOJHL Game Day that gets you ready for puck drop every day that there's going to be a game. So that's a lot of days in a regular season that have games, so it should be a good one. Anyways, he's Ben. I'm Courtney. As always, keep your eye on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.